All right, I want to talk about what I learned about confidence. So, I feel like we all struggle with stuff, and some of us, I don't know, maybe have more confidence, some of us have less confidence. But one thing I've learned is that honestly, I feel like everybody, it's something that everybody could be confident. Just the reason why, ideally, the problem is there's a problem why you're not confident. Many times the problem is that you're not confident because you haven't put in the reps. So you need to put in the time, the reps. You need to actually, like take time and practice. And that's something that people don't like to do. I remember when I was first started aviation, my radio calls, and it's something I'm kind of dealing still with right now a little bit. But before it was even worse. Before it was worse because I didn't put in the time and the reps to actually get better. So I knew my radio calls were an issue, but I guess at that time it wasn't really important. My instructor was making the radio calls, etc. And it wasn't brought to my attention that was that bad until one day my instructor said, "Okay, you're flying the airplane. You need to make the radio calls. Go ahead." And I, because I didn't put in the time and the reps, they were really weak. So it's like a muscle, you know. Let me see if I could draw a muscle. You have a muscle, you have your arm. And if you don't, you know, exercise that muscle, lift up the dumbbell, see, you're going to be weak. So my approach was like, I need to put in the time. So what I was told to do, the advice that my instructor gave me was like, take 5-10 minutes and chair fly. And if you're not a pilot, if you're not a student pilot, or not really in the aviation, this might be kind of new concept to you. But let me explain what this is. Chair flying is basically, it's like mental rehearsing, basically. You get a concept that you're weak in, or a maneuver that you're weak in, and you could close your eyes, keep them open, and really what it is basically you're, instead of in the airplane, we're talking about aviation, instead of spending a couple $100 in the airplane trying to relearn stuff or practice stuff, you maybe learn a couple times in the airplane or before in the airplane. You take a couple of minutes in your room in a quiet place, and you practice it. You put in the time. So, for example, my radio calls, let's go back to the radio call. My radio calls were pretty weak. So, what I did is, for each part of, let's say, the pattern is where, for people that are not pilots, on a runway, you have certain parts where it's called like a departure. Then you got a upwind, crosswind, downwind, and all on. If you're in a non-towered airport, basically you're announcing each section. And basically, it's like if I'm flying, let's say, I would start with like Orange County, Diamond 791 Papa Sierra, departing runway 4, and I'll be remaining the pattern, Orange County traffic. Pretty simple, right? But when you haven't put in the time, when you haven't put in the reps, all this terminology, all this is like foreign to you, right? So, maybe if you get a little nervous, you have to fly the airplane, you have to communicate, you have to, like they say, aviate, navigate, communicate. You have to do all this not at the same time, but sequentially, one after the other. And if you're new to this, you haven't put in the time or the reps, it could get, overwhelming. So going back to confidence, the lesson I learned, and I'm continuing learning, is that when I don't feel confident in a certain topic or subject or whatever, it's like I know the secret. It's like it's this not natural talent. Some people think, oh, I'm naturally confident, and sure, maybe some people are naturally confident, but it's not like only one person has it, and it's not like, oh, that person has it and I don't. No, it's something very simple, and like we were gonna say, the secret to success, the secret to confidence. It's very simple. You need to put in the reps. You need to put in the time. And if we were to go one step further, is like maybe you probably want to even track it. This is something I was doing and I still do, depending on when I started to do chair flying for maneuvers. Maneuvers are like, certain like things pilots have to do, power on, power off, to get familiar with how the airplane feels when it's going slow, when it's departing, or you're going to go around. Basically, you would chair fly them, and each time I took the time on each rep, I would get a piece of paper or whatever, and I would tally mark it. Okay, I did a power on, I did it again, did it again, did it again, did it again, and I would keep marking it until it just came natural to me, where I could, with no resource, with no paper, I would just repeat it. Okay, so I'm gonna do a maneuver. The first thing I gotta do is we use the acronym CAPS. Okay, so what's C? C is clearing turns, left to right, 90 degrees. Next thing, altitude. I gotta bug my altitude. I got to bug my heading. I gotta choose the outside reference. And now P, I gotta choose the best place to land in case of emergency. Either a field that's big enough, or a highway, or open, I don't know, highway, or an airport near us. Once I chose that, I'm going to set it up. So it's very simple. I'm going to make sure a fuel pump is on. I'm going to make sure the flaps are up, circuit breakers are all in. Make sure full rich. I have the highest tank, lights on, and now I could start my maneuver, whatever it is. So I usually want to repeat it until it gets normal. You want to track it down. You want to track your progress. And that's kind of important too, because like that helps you build confidence, because now you're able to see, everything that you've tracked. Okay, I've done it 10, 20 times, 30 times. Like, okay, finally now I could do it with no help. And then when you're like in my case, my instructor would tell me, okay, give me a power on stall. And you could quite literally see their face like, okay, finally he got it. Like, he didn't need my help. He didn't have to touch the controls or nothing. So let's just zoom out a bit, and this is what I learned. Confidence. Honestly, there's no secret to it. It's like you want to get confidence. I needed to get confidence on my radios. It's like a muscle, honestly. The more reps I do, the stronger I get. But the less reps I do, the weaker I get. So you could chair fly. Other people know it as mental rehearsing. Mental rehearse. See if I could even spell it. Rehearse. And it's just basically talking out loud, steps, you know. Then it's very simple. Put in the reps, put in the time, and you'll get confident.